This is going to be a really important video to see if you are a light worker who is creating generational sized wealth through your magic. And this is a soul calling. Chances are, if you stumbled upon this video, it's exactly what you need to hear today to really amp up this trajectory you're on. You're likely someone who is making money, you know how to make money, but you're ready to really take it to that next step of what it actually takes to build wealth, because this is a completely different mindset. And I'm really seeing a lot of this in the community. I'm so excited to share this because it's going to open up so many people's minds on this. So if this is you, stay tuned, because this is going to be probably 10 minutes or more of tons of deep mindset shifts. And just so you know, we're going to go deeper into this in boot camp in the Metamorphosis community space. So you're going to find all the info on how to join that below. If you really enjoyed and found tune up in this video, you are going to want to join because it's going to be 4 calls of it. And for those that know me, my calls always go about 30 minutes to an hour over. So there's going to be tons of this all in there. So that being said, you're a light worker who feels a very, very strong calling to share your gifts in this world, but simultaneously you feel called to also build wealth. And this is not a call that every single person feels. So the call you are feeling, it's a whole different frequency. And you're here because you needed this information in this moment to really blast you off in your trajectory. So let's get into it. First off, my name is Lily Ray. I am a light worker who built my business to 6 figures and beyond in a short amount of time, relatively. My business literally went from making $1,000 a month to literally overnighting into 5K months, 20K months, 40K months, all within the span of just a few months. And this was because I tapped into the frequency of soulmate clients, which is exactly what I teach. I teach all the keywords, the ways to access this information, to speak to your soulmate clients and summon them through social media. And so you're going to find all about that all on my page. So if you haven't seen my page before, you're going to want to go on there. You're going to learn all about soulmates there. And this is a really big key to creating a business that feels magical and alive and creating results that don't make sense. It's going to be soulmate clients being in alignment with the soul contracts you have in the Akashic. So that being said, let's get into the mindset flips. But keep in mind that soulmate clients are truly the key for light workers to really turn this ignition on. But that being said, when you go from, okay, I'm making money through my gifts to building wealth, there's an entire frequency shift. And what changes is that the bigger you go, the deeper in yourself that you're going to be going as well. Because it's one thing to create a reality where you're making money through your gifts, and that's amazing. There's so much in that. There's so much growth. But to build wealth, the bigger you go, the deeper into yourself you go. So first off, you got to change your mindset into being the wealthy alchemist who alchemizes all of this stuff so that you are able to generate wealth in the world. So this is actually your rocket fuel in a lot of ways, because through your alchemization, there's so much magic that occurs and so much that you're going to be able to share the world, whether or not you're teaching wealth. So just by deprogramming all of these survival traits through wealth, you are going to be able to share this wisdom. And this is all the same root cause as things that are body related, love related, relationships, all these things. So there is so much magic that happens here. You have to start looking at your challenges as your greatest blessing. And it doesn't mean that you can't still go through moments of, what the hell is going on? F this is crazy. But the more that you can really look at this as actually everything's working out for you, and that these challenges are literally just preparing you, and that you're going to be the one that keeps going, this is going to change your whole life. So when it comes to building wealth, this is absolutely crucial, because money will test you. The universe will test you. And it's not even just about testing, it's preparing you. It's preparing you into who you need to be to welcome these amounts in. So the more that you can look at these challenges as part of the journey, the better. And on this mindset, this goes hand in hand as well. It's a long-term mindset. It's a lifetime mindset. The more that you can just keep allowing yourself to zoom out and look at this as a lifetime change, that is when money cannot help but literally come to you. Because a lot of times when we are building our businesses and in the stages of kind of flipping the switch and, getting to a point where wealth is accumulated, a lot of times people get in this short-term mindset of like, I need it now. But the more that we can look at this as long-term, look at us as being able to put in assets that build the business, allowing ourselves to accumulate debt as not something to run away from, but as something that is a tool along the journey that you'll keep accumulating and then paying off, and then keep accumulating and paying off, and even more debt, the more that your business will be able to thrive. Because when we get in this short-term mindset, that is when we start repelling things. People can feel that even if we come to the call really open. And it doesn't mean that just because people feel that doesn't mean they won't buy from you. And it also doesn't mean that they never will be a client. But that being said, it is something that ends up being a bit of a repellent. At the end of the day, money is energy, and it reciprocates the energy that you're putting out and who you're being. So the more that you can be the person that already has the things, the more that clients magnetize to you. And so it's not always just about these money principles. Being able to understand what you are here to build in your soul through your soul blueprint, which is something that I teach and is actually have a mini meditation in the Metamorphosis community space, which I have linked below for the bootcamp. The more that you are able to get a clear blueprint of what you're meant to create, the more that you can hold that vision, the less you teeter and the less time you waste. Your vision is everything. And the more that you understand that you are the one in charge of your vision, meaning if there's anything coming up or that you don't believe your vision's possible, or, if you're here, you believe your vision's possible. But that being said, if you are jumping around, you're holding this vision and then you're jumping around, or there's, a part of you that is doubting, holding the vision is key. And understanding that everything on the way to the vision is part of it. Again, this is when your business and your vision cannot help but to come to life. So that being said, your vision is everything. And being able to hold that in your body and really open the vision for what you're here to create and allow it to be big, the more that big can happen. You have to leave space for miracles. And that's another thing. I see so many magical of just light workers who really feel this call to big, but then they close off unknowingly their access to miracles. Because to live in this state of building wealth, you have to believe in miracles, but not only just believe in them, because I know you believe in them. You have to allow them. And you allow them by opening the space for that. And opening the space for that often means potentially being in situations that feel scary, that feel fearful, obviously not dangerous, but taking leaps, taking the move that you feel called to take, that your soul is leading you towards. For instance, when I started my business, I was living in a completely different city. And then when I started my business, I'd been getting some pings around a city. And then the next thing I knew, oh my gosh, I literally got zooted to that city. And thank God, because this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, especially to bring this vision to life. There's soul contracts here. There's all these things. So I literally moved on a whim. I drove down. I only had so much money in my bank account. I left space for miracles. And actually that next month after I moved, officially, because I did go back and forth for a minute, when I officially moved, I had my biggest month ever. Money did start to flow in more. So that being said, you have to be able to leave space for miracles, and becoming friends with your fear in like a way that you can't even imagine is key. So becoming friends with your vision, your intuition, and fear, they all work hand in hand, because fear is just a story. And so expansion is key. That's exactly why in the Metamorphosis community, I speak about metamorphosis, because it really just is who you're being at all times. So that being said, leave space for miracles, and miracles can happen. This is when illogical amounts of money can happen, because to make illogical amounts of money, it's so important to move illogically, move different than most people you see moving, right? So that being said, there's kind of a switch that happens when we go from making money to building wealth, because making money is a little bit more transactional, but you're building a legacy, you're building a vision for people, and you're building a community. This is what happens when you're doing transformational work. It's a whole different ballgame. You are transforming people into an identity. You're creating an experience for them. And so this is just a whole different frame of thinking, because there's going to be people who've been in your world now who maybe jump in a year. Maybe they just are joining today and they join in 5. And so the more that you can think long-term and building relationships and not being afraid to also sell yourself and put yourself out there, and don't be afraid to say, hey, I have this spot open. Are you interested? They might say no now, but they could say yes in a year. They could say yes in a month, a week, years, 10 years. You could be doing, you're going to be doing this work for a really long time. So you being seen, no matter which way it is, trusting the divine flow. This becomes a whole different ballgame, because making money feels like an agenda, whereas building wealth through your gifts feels more of like a cultivation. So that being said, this is the switch that happens big time when it comes to switching into this piece. And I want to bring back in soulmate clients, because soulmate clients, I'm going to explain. I have some videos on my page as well. It is the idea that you literally have soul contracts with the clients you're meant to work with. And what happens is healers jump into the space and they go to share their gifts, but they share them modality based. And it's very thinking from the 3D brain. And that's beautiful. Your 3D brain is brilliant. There are a bunch of amazing businesses that really impact people who operate this way. But then what happens is when you want to create a logical amounts of income, the income isn't going to come if you're not in alignment with the soul contracts, because the universe is going to be constantly pushing you to those. Something's going to feel unsettled in your business. And a lot of times people find my page when they're like, yeah, I know something's off. I'm ready for you to show me the way out, right? So that being said, when you are able to understand this concept, so again, that there's soul contracts, and so these soul contracts aren't just random. They are literally all from a pool of people who are looking for something specific for you. And that's my art, is literally helping you to get your art out in a way that magnetizes your soulmates, because they're like, oh, wait, that's exactly what I needed. And again, this is all from here, and it funnels this way. So your brain is very smart. It knows how to build things. But then when you are able to connect with these soul contracts and the soul client energy, this is what puts you in alignment, and this is what creates magic and miracles in business. Because a lot of times, again, healers are selling more modality-based work. That is inherently, it's not transactional because you're not a transactional person. But when you compare it to soulmate clients and the world that you're building for them, it's actually a little bit more transactional, because you create an experience for a period of time that's beautiful. It's magic. But when you focus on soulmate clients and you feel called to my page to do this, you're creating a whole world and transformation for people. That's exactly what metamorphosis is. So that being said, these soul contracts, when you get in alignment with this is when the magic happens. This is what turns the wheel of divine timing in a really magical way. And it also has the universe sending clients to you, because the universe is like, all right, she's got it. She's speaking to them. She's welcoming it in. She's who she needs to be. And that being said, soulmate clients will change your life. And when you start to create a world that people want to join instead of a business to buy from for this period of time, everything changes. And I'm talking everything. And I'm talking as someone whose business literally explodes again and again and again and again because of soulmate clients. Because I'm in alignment with who I'm supposed to be speaking to. And each time that I get initiated into a new one, and then I find that person again, the magic happens. So you have to follow the magic. But the thing is, a lot of times your brain will be separating you from the magic. For instance, recently I was feeling a disconnect and from this magic pipeline that I talk about. And then when I went into meditation, I realized I was feeling called to let go of a group program that I didn't think I would be letting go of. And it surprised me a little bit. I knew that there was a shift because I created a new group program meant to explode people, whereas this one was more foundational. But I didn't realize I was literally being asked to let it go, and I wasn't quite getting the signs. So when I jumped into meditation, talked with this soul client, it was essentially like, let it go and let it go quickly. And so that being said, I couldn't figure it out from here. I had to figure it out from here. And so this is that shift that happens when we start to attune to this energy. And then we create a business that literally explodes, doesn't make sense again and again and again. And so another piece here is the queen mindset. And this is going to really tie it all together. And I think this really works well with soulmate clients because, for instance, when I first got the nudges to focus on Lightworkers, and that would be the soul client, and that I'm here to actually teach soul clients as a whole, When I first got that nudge, it felt wild to me. It felt really, I felt very, very, very intimidated by it. I felt, I felt like an imposter in a lot of ways because here I was at this point, I made about $10,000 in my business. And then the universe was like, oh yeah, you're going to teach money. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell? What the hell? So that being said, it didn't make sense. I had to initiate it in my body. That's why in Metamorphosis, we do the body work through somatic parts work, because literally there's going to be parts of you that are like, this is crazy. That little girl in 3rd grade who got yelled at by her teacher, and I'm literally talking a legit experience. She got yelled by her teacher for not doing the time test right, or just making a fool of her because of, she's a kid and her teacher was like, oh my God. That version of you is going to come up and have some things to say. It's going to be like, oh, there's no way that you're going to be in charge of that. Well, they're like, this happened. There's no way that that's going to happen. And so when I first got the call to soulmate clients, it was a huge initiation. But then the huge initiation and really letting go of this logical way of thinking, which my logic brain was trying to create a business through mostly time, putting my time on a calendar. I thought that eventually, okay, I'll get this flow that I'm meant to have. And this is what I'm talking about, transactional versus building wealth. And so when I switched to soulmate clients, downloads started pouring in of workshops and all these things I was meant to teach, and I wasn't getting those before. And my life completely changed. I made just about 6 figures in about 6 months. That was more than I made in a corporate job. And this was within just about 2 years of quitting my corporate job. That's not a lot of time. Like I said, building wealth, long-term thinking. I know that you're already tapped into all these entrepreneurial videos online, and one that you may see is Alex Hormozi. He talks all the time about how the first few years were kind of like this, kind of slower, and then things kind of crashed, and then they expanded, and then they crashed, and then they expanded. It's long-term thinking. So that being said, the queen mindset, tying it all together, the queen mindset is key, because the queen knows that she's deserving of everything. So she's going to move either way and not pay attention to what reality looks like too much. She might notice it. It might affect her for a minute, but she knows that everything's working out in her favor to get her to her vision. She's the queen of the queendom. She knows that even if, she has to pay a payment late, that things start to dip for a minute, she knows that she's worthy either way. She offers grace and understanding outwards as well. But the queen just moves. Think about a chessboard. The queen just does her thing. The queen is one of the most important pieces. I don't even fully play chess, but I do know that. So your queen mindset is what needs to be cultivated. And again, the queen is just decisive. She's like, oh, I don't know about this. She feels her emotions. This is Empress energy as well, but especially in soul business, queen mindset. If someone in the queendom is trying to take over the queendom, or someone in the queendom is causing civil unrest, she's going to be like, oh my God, get it out of here. The queen moves from conviction. She moves from her innate self. And so that being said, if you're watching this till the end and you're seeing this right now, you got to get your booty in boot camp. There's going to be so much more than just what we're talking about today in here. This is going to be 4 calls that are all going to be lifetime in the community space. And I'm stoked for this. This is going to be an epic class, and the people joining the community already, and this is a newly rolled out community space, they are epic, and you're going to want to get your booty in here.